Right, so breaking and entering is now a thing we're doing apparently. I don't think anyone saw me coming through the window. I could be wrong though, I can't be too careful, especially not after that thing. It looked... Okay, stop. Just breathe. Ashley, you're fine. I'm okay. I was back at the hotel. I just clicked off the tape recorder because I thought I heard someone outside my room. It was barely audible. So sorry. No, I can't describe it very well. The closest thing I can think of is wet feet on concrete, but even that isn't quite right. Whatever it was, it made me feel wrong. I didn't want to hear it. It made my hair stand on end, and that was just from the sound of the damn thing. It can't get in. I bolted the door. It can't get in. I kept muttering to myself. My eyes were glued to the bolt on the side of the door. I kept expecting it to slide open by itself, like in an old monster movie. Just on the edge of my sight was a dark corner that the light from my little lamp couldn't quite reach. My heart was screaming in my ears. I couldn't take my eyes off the bolt, but something in me needed that corner to be visible. I could still hear feet shifting just outside my door. Was it a person? Why were they just standing there? Okay, so if they're outside, I should have enough time to run over, switch the overhead lights on, and run back, I thought to myself. Okay. I was trying to psych myself up. Despite everything in me screaming not to move, I made a mad dash for the light, switched it, and turned on a heel back to my spot on the floor. But as I did, I quickly looked to the now lit corner. I fell in place. What I had seen made my head feel like it was buzzing. There was this almost sound, sort of like a deep, inaudible hum. And the longer I stared at the thing, the worse it got. It wasn't outside the door. It was in there with me. Oh God, it was inside. How did it get inside? It was like I was having a seizure. My whole body had tensed, my fingers had stiffed and locked. I could hardly move, but I had to get away. I must have looked pathetic as I crawled. I turned back to see it again. It felt wrong, like I was seeing something I wasn't allowed to. It hadn't moved. It was just standing there. I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman, but it definitely looked like a person, or the naked shape of one anyway. Why didn't I just let it stay in the corner? I just had to turn on the light, didn't I? Now I will have that thing in my mind forever. I can't unsee it. The person's skin looked like it was covered in thousands of slimy lumps, all moving around in unison. No. Not moving. Looking. They were looking around. This person's entire body was covered in eyes. What little skin there was acting like a weeping eyelid. I yanked my head away. I couldn't bear to look at it anymore. It physically hurt too. I was sure it was going to get me as I groaned and whimpered my way to the window on the far side of the room. Was it still in the corner? Was it standing over me? I couldn't worry about that. As I crawled out of the second-story window, I thought to look back, but only caught a glimpse of it as I fell outside. But even that blurry mental image hurt to look at in my... What do they call it? My mind's eye? Whatever, that sounds good enough. Basic motor control was slowly coming back to me as I staggered through the streets. If I was going to run away, I'd hoped I looked more like Hermione Granger as I did it. Instead, I think I looked more like Gollum as my back was hunched and my fingers were curled. I had been scared of being seen for weeks, so flailing through the streets was a big no. Lucky for me, Duskbowl's nightlife is non-existent. I guess that'll happen when everyone in this damn town has the life expectancy of a AA battery. Anyway, eventually I found my way to Everson's motel. I was going to come here initially, but I felt that the other hotel didn't smell as much of piss and beer as this one did. Oh well, play with the hand you're dealt. I snuck around the back and broke into one of the rooms, closer to the ground this time. The fallout of the other hotel was sure to leave some marks, and frankly, I've had my fair share of windows for one night. And that brings us up to speed. I've been sitting here for the last few hours, trying not to make too much noise, and making fists as I slowly get feeling back in my hands. I don't want to know what that thing was back there. Is it too much to ask that it may have just been someone having a February Halloween prank? I guess not. Jesus, what have I gotten myself into? Anyway, there's nothing in Marshall's journal about freaky eye people, so I'm stuck on that front. But, as expected, there is a lot of stuff in here on the flower board. He keeps writing about someone called Jamie. Tomorrow I'm going to the flower board to find out what I can on her. But as for right now, I need to sleep. Good night, tape recorder. Do me a favor. Keep an eye out for any scary eye monsters. Alright?
G'day guys, it's me, Harry, and I just wanted to say thank you for listening to this episode. Duskbowl is, well, it's my passion project, and it just means so much to me that you support it. And if you'd like to support Duskbowl more, feel free to like, subscribe, and support us on Patreon. Anything at all that you could give would mean the absolute world. Your support really does mean everything to me. And I just want to apologise if you can hear trains and cars in the background. I've recently moved, so the whole setup is different. For a lot of you, this is going to be the first time you've actually heard Duskbowl, because obviously you didn't have the biggest following in the start. There are the tapes that if people new coming in want to listen to, feel free. They will give you a lot of context, I feel. I want to thank Romnex so much. I feel like a lot of you will be coming from her channel. Without her, I don't think Duskbowl would be getting the traction that it's getting at the moment. It really does mean a lot that she helped me out, and she is amazing. Please, if you aren't a subscriber of hers, please go to subscribe to her. She's absolutely fantastic. She does amazing horror narrations, and it is a crime she doesn't have a larger following than she does. If you want more Duskbowl, we're going to be uploading fortnightly, and on top of that, on our Instagram page, we actually have like a BARG found footage type story that's going on that you can go and enjoy, which I'm sure you'll get quite a lot out of. So that's on our Instagram page, which will be linked in the description. I'd also like to start having Duskbowl artwork competitions. So if you guys have any fan art that you have of Duskbowl, send it through to the Duskbowl email address, and then the winner of that competition for that week or fortnight will then have their artwork platformed both on our YouTube channel and on our Instagram page. Ash was voiced by the amazing Caroline Fester, and the always absolutely fantastic music that Duskbowl just wouldn't have an identity without is by Samuel Burke, a longtime friend of mine, and please go follow some of his music. I'll be linking some of his bands down in the description. And lastly, if you want to have an Australian accent in any of your projects, I'm a voice actor myself, so if you want to have me on board, feel free to hit me up on my Fiverr, which I'll also be linking in the description.